Okay, we'd like to start the workshop. And the first thing on the workshop agenda is pretty wonderful. It's radar recognition, and I actually thought when we sent this agenda out, people might have thought we got some kind of new system or something in town. Radar is the wonderful dog in our canine unit, and we wanted to set aside some time to recognize not only him, but Officer Vanderwood. On October 10th at around 5 o'clock in the evening, the Town of Kent Police Department got a call from the East Fishkill Police, who stated that they were looking for a missing 3-year-old child in their jurisdiction just over the Kent Town line. The name and the description of the boy were given to the Kent dispatcher, and East Fishkill was advised that Kent's canine officer was working and would respond to the location. Officer Alex Vanderwood and Radar, his canine, responded and met with East Fishkill officers and the distraught mother of the child. The mother told officers that she was in another part of the house, and when she returned, her son was missing, and she noticed the front door was open. Radar was able to pick up the scent and began tracking in the woods behind the residence. Radar tracked for approximately half a mile into the woods and located John Daniel unharmed. The boy had apparently opened the front door to let his dog out and followed the dog outside. With darkness setting in, the outcome of the situation could have been very different had it not been for the efforts of Officer Vanderwood and Radar. So for these actions, the Kent Town Board would like to recognize and congratulate Officer Vanderwood and his canine partner, Radar, for a job well done. And I'd like to bring the officers, excuse me, and if we could bring Brooke and John Daniel up.
This way he can see himself on television.
Look at the TV camera. Wave high.
Good job.
What's that, Robert? They're nice and loud. Yeah.
That happened years ago with my neighbor. She went to take a shower. He
Yeah, sure.
the dog. The police.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Used to be all over.
Now he's a Kent police officer. It's funny how things.
Okay, I don't think the rest of the meeting is going to be as much fun, but thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Actually, this item is kind of fun, too. This evening, sitting over with with Lana Capelli, our town clerk, is our new town attorney, Nancy Taliafiero. So I'd just like to, the firm of Hogan and Rossi is handling our town meetings and is acting as town council beginning yesterday, December 1st. So thank you, Nancy. We'll make your first meeting nice and easy. I promise.
Yeah, wait for the next time.
We're going to hold you to it.
Okay, code enforcer.
Wait for number 3.
Number 2, in the packet, there is a cleanup of a property identified by the tax map, number 22.74-1-4. It's a dangerous tree. And we got 3 bids to take down the tree on this property. One from Bill Henry Tree Service for $225, one from Johnson's Tree Service for $400, and Putnam Handyman declined to provide an estimate. I would recommend we take the lowest bid on this. I don't know if there needs to be any discussion.
Well, do we have the insurance requirement met that we?
I don't have it in the packet.
Johnson's we've received in the past, the last tree go-round, we received Johnson's.
Right, and this is Bill Henry.
Okay.
But I don't know about the other guy.
So if we want to do this evening, we could do it based on receiving the proper insurance.
Yeah. Just like we did last time. I
Right,
think.
the contingency. Yep. Okay, knock 2 things off. Number 3, do you want to come and talk about this, Rich, or do we need to? Yeah, the next item is the rescission of the part of resolution number 367, which awarded the Highway Department sand bid. Apparently, the bid went out for washed sand, and the company that we awarded the bid to doesn't use the proper process under the bid specs. So it has been suggested that we rescind that part of Resolution 367 and re-award the bid to the next lowest bidder.
Should I explain it? Should I wait for questions?
What's washed sand?
Wash sand is when sand is washed by water. It's a process where the sand is quarried and it's washed by water, and it separates the fines, the silts, and the clays from the hard, coarse aggregate, and that's what's used for traction on the roads and the ice and the snow. And when you wash it, you get a better product. And I wouldn't have known it. I assumed when we went through the bids, if you remember, 3 or 4 months ago, we rescinded a lot of bids. I was just going to go off the state bid because it was things that we haven't used in years, and it was a lot of work for Lana and the town clerk to put these bids out and these specs. And if by some chance I needed one of the items, I think we got rid of like 12 or 14 items. I just have to go to the county bid or the New York State bid if it comes to that. But I think it's very remote. We're going to use some of those items, so I'm trying to streamline it. So I went through a lot of things that was done the way it was always done. And the only spec we have for this bid for wash sand, it just says wash sand. If you look at like blacktop and you look at crack sealing and you look at a lot of the other technical items, Lana has a whole 2 or 3 paragraphs specifying the DOT numbers and so on and so forth. But for this, we just have wash sand. And the one company, the company that we originally awarded the bid to, was getting the award year after year. Now, I wouldn't have known about it until I got a letter from the second company, and basically I'll just give it to you really fast. Good morning, Mr. Othmer. I'm forwarding a copy of our approved aggregate source status to you, and also attesting to the fact that, I'm not going to say a name, sand and gravel is a permitted wash plant facility. Our sands and gravel are all processed through the wash plant. I appreciate your time taking your time to look at this. And it goes on to give me the DOT specs that they require from their sand, and they're an approved New York State DOT plant. And they basically have, and this is what made me a little nervous, they have a case because I awarded the bid to the other company, and what they have, it's not a wash plant, it's called an air classifier, and it's a process where they through dry air, they separate, they clean the sand, but it doesn't clean the silts and the clays out of it as good as the wash sand does. But I specifically asked for wash sand, and this company does not qualify. So I went and I went up to the plant to talk to them about it, and I received this letter. This is a New York State DOT quarry approved material source, but they have a lot of materials that we do buy other materials from them. This source of sand is 100% virgin granite that is quarried and processed to finished sizes. An air classifier is used to produce a clean sand product, and this is the key word, that is comparable to a wash sand product. So they're saying that it's comparable to a wash sand product in nature and would have characteristics of ice control sand, but it's not an approved DOT washed plant. The thing that I wanted, that since I advertised it like this, I didn't want to leave us open for litigation by awarding it to a company that didn't do specifically what I asked for. So next year, I spoke to Nancy today about this, and we're going to talk to Lana. Next year when I go out to bid, I'm going to find out exactly what the first company, if their finished product will meet the DOT standards, not the process. So what I'd like to do is advertise next year for the finished product, not the process that it's made. But I did talk to a lot of the other highway superintendents in the county today, and they all agree that a washed sand, it's a little more expensive, is a better product for the roads. And a lot of them don't use the first company. So number one, to avoid litigation with us, that's why I'm asking for this to be rescinded and changed. And then next year I'm just going to tweak the bidding process for this. Instead of just 2 words, wash sand, I'm going to put a specific specification out there so there's no confusion. But I was just nervous about any kind of litigation, and as I read into it, I just think we should cover this. And I met with Nancy today at her office, and Nancy, anything you want to?
No, we went over everything, and Rich explained to me and showed me some backup documents that essentially showed that the product that the company that was awarded the contract was offering was not the same as what we asked for in the bid. So therefore, it doesn't comply with the bid specifications, and any agreement that the town might have made with them would be void and unenforceable, and it would be appropriate to award the bid then to the next lowest bidder that complied with the specifications.
And the other bidder, their plant is actually closer to us. They're more expensive, a couple of dollars more than the first plant, but they're actually closer to us. It's about a 16-mile round trip. So it's kind of a trade-off, but I'll definitely tweak this now. I actually started looking through my other bids that we did bid on this year to see if there's anything I missed so this doesn't come up again. But once I was put on notice by the wash sand company, I felt I had to do something.
Well, my concern from a litigation standpoint is we sent out to bid, we got the lowest bidder that we've been using every year, and then the bidder that lost came in and said, hey, by the way, their product isn't very good, use us instead. So the competitor came up and said, don't use these guys that you've already bid out and accepted and used for years and years without complaint, use us because look at this.
They actually never said that, Paul. They never spoke bad about the other. They just said that we didn't bid on apples and apples. They never spoke bad about the other company.
No, I'm not saying they spoke bad. I'm saying they know who's next on the list, and they know if they get fail out, they're the next person to go to, and so they contact you on their own. I mean, this is America. That I would if I had a product and I bid on a public bid, and they said, I want to use this type of cement, and then I saw the other company got the job, and I said, well, you didn't
they gave you a different type of cement, I would contact my representative and tell them.
I'd be
I see-
concerned that's an interference with contractual relations, but, I mean, it wouldn't be our problem, but it sure seems like we awarded it open to some person, and then the loser came on, and went
There are
out.
about 5 losers.
Yeah, and the loser who was the next in line to benefit came on and said, this.
No, I actually got a lower price from another bidder, but they don't do wash sand either. They have a different process than water wash.
Well, yes, I'm sure if they know that Thal doesn't do wash sand, I'm sure they know the second lowest bidder doesn't do wash sand either.
If you want to take that on, I'll direct them to you. I mean, it's my job to notify the town board, and I can't take any action.
Right, but Rich, is what you're saying, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding, that the lowest bidder that we originally awarded the bid to doesn't meet the bid specifications?
Exactly.
So they're technically then should be disqualified. And I think even if in the past, we awarded them the contract in error because they didn't meet the bid specifications, we probably shouldn't continue on that path. I mean, we should correct it and actually award to somebody that meets the specs, not continue in error because we've done it in the past.
Well, I look back in the history of the files, and the one company has been getting awarded over and over. Maybe they had a wash facility 20 years ago, and then they went to with this other way of doing it, and maybe it just went under the radar. But I was put on notice, and
Rich, do you need this sand right away?
I do not need it right away. Well, let's knock on wood. If we have a nice, easy winter, I have a good stockpile. But there's going to come.
And my next question to council are regarding the opposite way that Councilman Denbaum, are we opening up to any type of litigation? I know anybody can get sued, but any type of litigation, and you've reviewed everything?
We have reviewed everything, and one of the things that I put to Rich earlier today is the variation in the bid that was submitted. Is it a minor variation from the specs, or is it a major variation? And apparently, it's a different product when you put it on the road. So, in his opinion, it's a major variation, and it doesn't comply with the specifications from the bid, and therefore, any agreement that we would have made with them would be unenforceable and void because it doesn't comply with the bid specifications.
I mean, the only other option, and you're saying that there wouldn't be any litigation, to resolve this, as long as he has a stockpile, is to rebid it and rebid it with Rich's specifications for wash sand. You said you would get into other, that's just another option. But if you feel comfortable.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I think you can do it either way.
I think that's what we need to do to avoid any type of litigation.
I know Carmel puts bids out 3 times a year. We do it once a year, but Carmel puts, you know what, that's a really good idea.
And we could do that in the next 2 weeks, right? Next 2 weeks,
And
right?
advertising,
Yeah.
and then the holidays.
But unless you don't think that there's
Yeah.
any problem.
I didn't even think of that.
What Paul mentioned, that it's a concern, and if this way you can revitalize or change whatever the spec's supposed to be and update them to your standards, and maybe we get even better price. Who knows?
And then what we can do is say, if I can get through January, well, we'll do it as fast as possible, and then just have it renewed in October with everything else next year. I like that. Is that all right, Nancy? Or?
I think that's fine, yeah. I mean, you did sort of express that you thought the bid was a little vague, so this is an opportunity to sharpen it
To
up.
clear it up, because I think
Yeah.
we could be exposed to possible litigation no matter what we
Short
do.
on sand. I don't want to, 2 weeks from now, an ice storm, and but I'm confident.
Then I
that
can buy under emergency conditions.
emergency purchase we can do, and also, you know a few highway superintendents in the area.
All right, I'll get right on that tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
That was any type of concern or problem.
Now,
I mean, you could adopt a resolution tonight, just amending the previous resolution, number 367, just to
To exclude
rescind that
this
specific portion
part,
only.
right.
Then I'll write something up and get in touch with you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good job.
So then, in effect, we'd be rejecting all bids on that one
Going forward.
section.
Yes.
Is that all
Just
right,
on the
Paul?
sand.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
was just,
have to send a letter out right away to both companies, so we're going to do it on the rebid to all the companies. Right away. All right, I'll do that tomorrow.
We're just doing the sand.
With new specs, that's all.
With
Just the wash
updated,
sand.
detailed specs.
With more
Yeah.
detailed specs.
Which
You could just tell them you're gonna rebid it with more detailed specs.
Well, it's gonna be similar to the other bids we received in the fall, so I'll get on that right away tomorrow, and I'll get the specs written right away.
So then if we want to do that, then as in the meeting part, adopt the resolution, in the resolution you prepared, we can take out the last two whereases on the first page and the now therefore and further resolved, and we'd be good to go.
The town board of the town of Kent hereby
On page 1, if we took out the bottom two whereases on the first page.
Yep.
The now therefore and the further resolved on the second page, we could go ahead with this resolution.
And so you'll be able to look at my letters?
Yep. I'll be in the office all day tomorrow.
Okay, thanks again.
Right? We'd be good to go.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, bids for construction at Town Hall. We had discussed a number of times moving the recreation staff from the current recreation building to Town Hall, and as part of our adopted budget, we had taken out the expenses for the old building in anticipation of doing this. We have scoped it out with, I've scoped it out with the building inspector and a few other people, and it seems that the most reasonable thing to do, and we had discussed actually moving the recreation department to the receiver of taxes office, since that position is part-time, and it's a nice, big, usable space that recreation could hold their meetings, and it's currently underutilized. We would need then to move the receiver of taxes to another location, and there is currently a vacant office that has that is behind the kind of mail area and copy area, and I contacted 3 contractors to just move the door frame to that office over to next to the time clock and build a partial wall. And this way, the receiver of taxes would have an enclosed office and a roll-down window and counter over which she could receive taxes, as is currently in existence in the office she now occupies, and it would be a secure office. So I called 3 contractors, 2 of whom provided estimates, one of whom said that unfortunately he would not have been able to even start work on this until the spring, and since we need to move kind of quickly on this. And so to just frame out the new door and sheetrock and tape where the old door, the lowest bid we have is $1,550. I would like to get started on this, again, so that we don't incur any expenses in the old rec building next year.
Question.
Yeah.
Which one, he's got 2 different bids.
Right, he has 2 different bids.
Who's moving the cabinets?
I spoke to Adam Pavelka, our maintenance staff, and he said that he would be able to do that. And actually, Rich Othmer said he could also probably send over some highway.
And whose budget is it coming out of?
I don't know which budget line it would come out of.
You gotta know who's paying for it.
Contingency?
I don't know, it'd probably come out of Rex.
Why? Rec isn't going in there.
No, that's right.
Do we
Doesn't
have a
go-
line for the building itself? A
You know, I
budget
don't
line
have the
for the
budget in
building?
front of me.
We do.
16 town hall.
Right, which I think we're okay on, because that's where that new, the new siding for like that soffitting came out of, and I know we weren't short on that.
Yeah, but there's other, I mean, there's monies in that budget for town hall. There's other things in town hall that could use a little maintenance. I mean, you look up the portico out front, it's looking a little sad. You know, I just hope, and we didn't budget for it next year,
No, we didn't budget for this.
so.
Can that be added into this proposal? If there's something in front that needs help?
Well, you look at it, it's,
Well, I don't go in that. So,
well, I know you need money, but next time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little sad under there right now.
Where, oh, with the
portico.
nests and stuff,
No,
yeah.
just the condition of it's not, needs a paint job.
Right, well, I mean, well, we can look at the line for the building and see if we have that in,
No, just, there was no budget note here, so I just want to know where's it
Yeah.
coming from.
I'm not sure which budget line that would come out of, actually. I know we have, I'm pretty sure we have the money, but,
No, it's not a lot of money.
no, it's not a lot of money. And that's why I actually cut it down. When we got the original numbers, and they just seemed, you know, high, especially just to basically move some cabinets that seemed to be easily removable. So I thought if we could
The
save,
phrase seemed to be,
no, I had some people check it out.
no, that's my work, every time, every job I take, it's 2 trips to Home Depot.
You know, if it's, I don't know about painting now. and
Only 2? You're lucky. I go back and back.
Things that maybe we need to survey the area as far, you know, Mike pointed out in particular, I don't know if Adam has any other needs. But I don't know what, you know, can be done in the winter. I don't think you can paint in the
No, you
winter.
can't do that.
No,
But,
not outside.
But the dormers were fixed, that's, you
Right,
know.
the dormers were fixed. And I mean, I think that that's something that, you know, we can, as the year goes on, look into, but we certainly want to get this done so that we don't have to pay that heating bill over there, and we didn't budget for, you know, the resiograph.
No, maybe the transfer from the.
We put any type of, how long this was going to take? Is it like a week job or?
Yeah, I mean, I had spoken to the contractors that came in and said that, you know, we had to go before the board in order to have this approved, and I would like it to be done in December, and everybody kind of indicated it wasn't a major job.
Yeah, I would say we should find the date that you and the contractors agreed on, put it in there, note that time is of the essence, because we have budgetary, and we
Right.
won't, so put a time of the essence clause in there, have an end date that's in December. And I also would, the bid for 1550, that's the one we're looking at going for.
Yes.
Jim Liedler.
Right.
In his other bid for 3350, I think it says work could be done at night or on weekends.
Right.
I would request that we move that work will be done on nights and weekends
Okay.
and put that into the first, so we'll have 2 additional if the board agrees.
There's only one other issue with that too, is the first bid also doesn't address debris removal. Whereas his second bid, number 7, where you were just reading, was remove garbage and put it in the town's dumpster.
Right. And I think that's really because in that first bid, they were not only taking the door and moving the door, they were actually widening the space. So there was going to be destruction of some of the sheetrock, and there were probably going to be tiles that would have to come up. With this different configuration, without removing the door, there really isn't going to be the debris that would have.
That's the only, because I'm looking, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't
One
think
says
there's going to
debris
be,
removal.
yeah, there was going to have to, you know, they were going to take down like a few feet of sheetrock and arch it. But that also would have entailed moving an electrical socket, a light switch, and I thought it was really too costly and unnecessary to do that.
And so the painting that's not in this bid, that'll be done in-house as well by.
Right, right, and it's just a small amount.
Adam does all the
Yeah.
painting.
Oh, yeah, I was just,
Yeah, we're always
Just
looking
checking.
for
Yeah.
things to keep him busy in the winter anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with the first bid as long as we put those two caveats in there. That it's done on time and the time is of the essence. And then the only thing is on
Do it
the
at night or weekend. they
night of the
have to have
weekend, do we have to have somebody
Adam.
here?
They have to have Adam here.
But it's almost necessary. I mean, you can't have, can you have construction going on? I don't know.
It's
a
only in
narrow room?
that small area, I don't know. I mean, we can discuss it with him and see if that would be, I don't see, yeah, you know, it's such a smaller scope of work now than originally anticipated.
That has to be, they have to come and remove that?
No, that wall stays,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
The
That
time
one.
clock is gonna stay
The time
where it
clock is going to stay where it is. Yeah, all these other, you know, things, had we chosen to do it differently, would have necessitated moving the time clock and, you know, moving more outlets and switches, and it would have been a really major deal. But now what they're really just doing is taking the door and moving it and building, you know, a partial wall around the door. So,
Walk like anyway.
There's still gonna be enough room in there for the postage machine and all that, all the,
yeah, because that section of the wall, the room is going to stay
That's staying.
accessible.
That's a good idea.
the right side.
Right.
And our mailboxes are going to the right
Our
side.
mailboxes are probably going to need to go into the staff lounge, but we can bolt them to the wall there. And we're going to move the cabinet that is in existence over so the copy machine can just scoot right under there.
All right, so if you are comfortable with the work being done in the workdays, then the only addition I would have would be times of the essence done by December.
Right. Okay.
And do we also need a certificate of insurance naming the town as additional insured for the work?
Yeah. He may have provided one, because I think he may have done, I'm not sure if he's the contractor that did the work at the highway garage, but yeah,
Okay.
we need a certificate of insurance, absolutely. And this isn't on the agenda, but I kind of wanted to mention it.
Got one item too.
Right, and Mike wants to, I had actually been beginning a discussion about having a winter festival on the grounds of this complex. And one of the things that I thought of is, this is such a lovely complex, and it's really underutilized in a lot of respects by the public, unless they're coming to, you know, pay their taxes or go to the library, or if they have to go to the police station. And people should get kind of a more joyous use out of this place. I had actually been thinking, wouldn't it be nice to do it around, you know, the holidays, and was told by a lot of people, everybody has them around the holidays, so it wouldn't be the best time. And maybe February would be a good time to have a festival here. So I've been talking to Bill Nulk and the Chamber of Commerce, because while I'd love to have a festival and people come here and enjoy the grounds, I don't want it to cost the taxpayers any money. So I'm trying to find sponsorship through the businesses involved in the chamber to actually do something fun here in the winter. And I just kind of wanted to put it in your heads. I spoke to Bill again today, and we're going to try to have something for the next meeting where we can actually talk about maybe some of the events to see if the board is actually interested in pursuing the idea. But I think it would be wonderful for people to come here and enjoy, you know, what they've sunk their hard-earned tax dollars into without sinking another dollar into it. Maybe even
Does Lake
ice
Carmel,
skating.
Yeah, I was.
Does Lake Carmel put on a winter festival? I know they used to. I don't know if they still.
Yes, we're doing a tree lighting this weekend on the lake. It's right near where the Veterans and the Memorial Day services happen. There's a flyer. And
Hold it to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to read the flyer.
Yeah, Santa's gonna be there. It's 5 o'clock, and it's over where the memorial is off of North Terry Hill Road. But, and just as another note, at the Lake Carmel tree lighting, we'll be, letting people know that we're having a house decorating contest. Apparently, the Lake Carmel Park District used to do it as a community event.
We did.
Yeah, it's taxpayer neutral. Basically, the park district volunteers go around, with a cup of hot chocolate. They, judge all the houses that want to be judged, and then the park district will put in for a gift certificate of their own.
To Nisig?
What?
To Nisig?
To a restaurant locally. So that will be going on. So if you want to decorate your house and have me and the rest of the park district come judge it, there's a whole flyer for that that'll be going out with an email and everything.
Now, is this open to the public, or is this just Lake Carmel residents?
Just like, well, that's open.
I'm gonna say just Lake Carmel residents, but I'm gonna say just Lake Carmel residents for the official record. I think as with all Lake Carmel events, you're allowed to bring guests and stuff. So just like with the beaches and everything, Lake Carmel residents are allowed to bring invited guests. Sometimes they get like a guest pass for beaches and stuff like that. So same protocol would apply to all lake events.
Okay, and, actually, I'll talk to you after about the tree.
Okay.
Did you get my note?
If it was in my mailbox today, it's right here.
All right,
I need to add one item.
Yes.
Water District Number 1, in one of their buildings, their electric heater has failed. I've been getting lovely phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning from CIA security telling me there are low temperature alarms. So we need to go out for an emergency purchase for a new heater it's the pump house off of Marion. So there will be, we need to put it on the agenda. I'm just gonna call the electrician that did the generators, and he can find I looked online at heaters, they run somewhere in the general range of around $500. So I know they have the money in the budget for it, so, before a pipe breaks.
all right, so you'll add that to the meeting and
Yes.
we'll vote on
All right,
it.
one more sanitation, which has something to do with the landfill. We received a call from Eugene Lavolpe concerning that a machine will be needed to go up soon with the leaves. Do they do this every year or something?
They rent the
Yeah.
machine and.
Yeah, the highway
they
guys
turn
run it or
over.
something?
Yeah, they do, it's usually Rich. They usually piecemeal, if he has storms, highway dumps stuff in there, the Lake Carmel dump their leaves, and usually but the last time I spoke to Rich, he didn't have anything up there, we haven't had a storm. So it would be just Lake Carmel pushing the leaves around. So they'll have to rent the machine and,
Okay.
they turn over the leaves, that's all it is. As
Didn't
far
we-
as
Didn't we mulch the, branches and trees that once a year? We went up to the landfill and
No, they get
mulched?
the tub grinder when highway, every year we've had a hurricane or a storm, so highway had a lot of debris off the roads. So we would get the tub grinder in once a year, and it would be broken up with highway and Lake Carmel with the leaves. Rich hasn't had to dump anything up there in my last conversation with him, which was probably about a month or two ago, about the landfill. As far as cutting the brush at the landfill, I called the guy who wins the bid every year. He was too busy in September, October. He said he would get back to me in October. We got back with each other in October. He says, I'm too busy, can't do it this year. So it's gonna have to wait till the spring as far as mowing the brush. He has the specialized equipment that can cut on the slope. And that's it.
All right. That's all I have.
That's all I
Public
have.
comment?
Nothing public.
All right, start the meeting.
We're at a record pace.
Hopefully.
We'll slow it down.
I
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Fleming?
Present.
Councilman Denbow?
Present.
Councilwoman Osborne?
Here.
Councilman Eustis?
Here?
Councilman Tierney?
Here.
All present.
Okay. Does everybody have the copies of the resolutions? Do you want to do items 3 and 4, Paul?
3 and 4. Okay.
Then you do 5, and then Michael add.
What, 4 were, are we tabling 4 then?
No, what we would do with 4 is, okay, hold on. Actually, if you want, I'll do 4 because I marked it up on my
Okay.
copy.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to authorize the town supervisor to contract with
It's resolutions and
No, 3. The resolution for 3.
with Bill Henry Tree Service to perform cleanup of property identified as tax map number 22.74-1-4, and that is subject to,
And this is the resolution.
I have it, and that's subject to contingent upon the receipt of necessary insurance documents.
I put them in myself. Not in your little package in the back of the package, came after the package. There are 3 resolutions in the back of your package. Not stapled, okay.
Lana, do you need me to read the resolution? Okay.
Yeah,
Whereas the code enforcement officer of the town of Kent issued an order to remedy a violation dated October 7, 2014, the order to remedy, directing the removal of a dead tree on property identified as tax map number 2274-14, the property, and whereas the order to remedy required the owner of the property to remove the dead tree or submit a written request to the code enforcement officer for a hearing to discuss remedial action to abate said violation within 10 days, whereas to date, the owner of the property has not corrected the violation as required by order to remedy, nor submitted the required written request to the code enforcement officer to discuss remedial action to abate the violation, and whereas pursuant to Chapter 55A, subsection B1 of the Town Code of the Town of Kent regarding property maintenance, upon the failure, neglect, or refusal of any owner to comply, the building inspector is authorized to correct a violation or cause such violation to be corrected subject to approval of the town board. And whereas the town board wishes to authorize the building inspector to correct the violation, and the cost of such correction will be charged to the property owner. And whereas consistent with the town's procurement policy, the town board of the town of Kent duly advertised for bids to correct the violation on the property. And whereas Bill Henry Tree Service Incorporated has submitted the lowest bid proposal. And whereas the town board of the town of Kent wishes to accept the bid proposal submitted by Bill Henry Tree Service, Inc. in the amount of $225. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the bid of Bill Henry Tree Service Incorporated for correction of the violation on the property contingent upon receipt of the necessary insurance documents, and be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution, and is further resolved that the actual cost of the correction of the violation plus the accrued legal rate of interest per annum from the date of completion of the work, if not paid by the property owner, shall be charged to the property owner by the town in accordance with Chapter 55A, B, A, subsection B of the town code. Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. I'd like to offer a resolution, whereas the town of Kent advertised for bids for prices of highway materials to be effective from October 1st, 2014 until September 30th, 2015. And whereas bids were received and opened and publicly read at the Kent Town Center on August 29th, 2014. And whereas by resolution number 367, adopted on September 30th, 2014, the town board authorized the purchase of certain highway materials from specific vendors, including the approval of the purchase of washed sand from Thale Industries of Fishkill, New York. And whereas Highway Superintendent Othmer has advised the town board that Thale Industries' bid does not comply with the bid specifications because it is a bid for sand that is processed through a dry process called air classifier and is not washed sand as required by the bid specification documents. And whereas because the bid does not comply with the bid specifications, the award of the bid to Thale Industries for washed sand is null and void. Now therefore be it resolved that Resolution 367 remains in full force. Now be it resolved that the portion of Resolution 367 awarding the bid for washed sand to Thale Industries null and void, and that it is further resolved that Resolution 367 remains in full force and effect in all other respects.
And you don't need that.
And I don't have to read that.
Second?
All in favor?
Roll call.
Councilman Denbound?
No.
Councilwoman Osborne?
Yes.
Councilman Eustace?
Yes.
Councilman Tierney?
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming?
Yes.
Motion carried.
You want to do 5?
And do you want the motion first or the resolution?
Either way.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to authorize the town supervisor to contract with Jim Liebler for the new construction at Town Hall. And the resolution is as follows. Whereas the town board of the town of Kent desires to undertake certain improvements to the town hall by converting the existing mail copy room to an office for the town tax receiver and using these existing tax receiver's office for the town's recreation and parks department, in parenthesis, the project, which will result in the reduction in the town's overhead and utility expenses, and whereas consistent with the town's procurement policy for the public works contracts estimated to cost between $3,000 and $34,999, the town supervisor sought 3 written quotations for the project, and whereas Jim Liebler Incorporated has submitted the lowest responsible quotation dated November 17th, 2014, in the amount of $1,550, a copy of which is annexed hereto and incorporated herein by reference, and whereas the town board of the town of Kent wishes to accept the annexed quotation submitted by Jim Liebler Incorporated relating to the project. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the annexed quotation of Jim Liebler Incorporated relating to the project, and be it therefore resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution in such form as is satisfactory to the town attorney. I make that motion.
Discussion. Pending the insurance.
Right, pending,
Pending
Meeting
insurance.
the town's insurance requirement.
right.
Thank you, Mike.
Is that a second?
Second.
Now all in favor?
Aye.
Like to ask,
What Mike, you want to do?
Oh, sorry, thanks. I would have forgot. I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda the emergency heat repair to Water District Number 1, Marion Way Pump House.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize Kent Water District Number 1 to make emergency repairs to the heat at the Marion Road Pump House. I don't anticipate it being exceeding, I'm just gonna say $1,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like the approval of the following vouchers, claims that are over the threshold. City carting for Lake Carmel garbage, $5,321.07. Also $3,740.85. And also $4,486.29. For Timothy J. Curtis, P.C., for October 2014 traffic, $10,660.25. And for general, for October, $9,975.45. For Hogan and Rossi, December 2014, $5,416.63. For Home Depot, leaf bags, $2,628.25. Inside Engineering for the Route 52 sewer, $10,628.60. Merritt Construction for Route 52 sewer, $266,466.59. For the New York State Department of Civil Service, that's health insurance for November, $235,510.81. For Town of Kent municipal repairs, chargebacks for sanitation, $3,619.83. Chargebacks for police, $2,316.37. I ask you to approve these vouchers.
Roll call.
I need a second.
Sorry.
Second.
I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilman Danback?
Abstain?
Councilwoman Osborne?
Yes.
Councilman Eustace?
Yes.
Councilman Tierney?
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment?
There's nobody here.
Did you want to?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, do I have to add now? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to an executive session to discuss a matter of personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You mentioned that we're not coming back?
Just a couple
We have to come back.
We do?
We could close the meeting there if we take no action.
Can we?
There's nobody here, we can close the meeting.
Okay.
They do that in the town of Carmel. They go into executive session.
No, Radar's allergic to that, so we're going to return it and get something more suitable.
So we're done. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.